Hi, I'm Jason Inman.
And I'm Ashley Victoria Robinson.
And welcome to Fan Theories, the video where we look through internet theories and fan theories and we decide whether they're going to be likely or not likely. We're here with the professor from Oxford of Geek and Fan Theorology, Ashley Victoria Robinson. And what is the fan theory that we are going to debate today?
Well, the fan theory that we're going to debate today is what happens to Tony Stark and Pepper Potts in Avengers 4, and maybe it has to do with a tiny child.
Ooh, interesting. Now, before we get into all that fan theology in Avengers 4 and Tony Stark and Pepper Potts' reproductive possibilities, we want to talk about Jupiter Jet. It has nothing to do with reproductive possibilities, but it is about a 16-year-old girl with a jetpack. It is a comic book published by Action Lab that was written by this professor and that professor, and drawn by the amazing Ben Matsuya. You can find it on Amazon, you can find it on barnesandnoble.com, and you can find it and order it at your local comic book store. Please go do that right now. We put a lot of hard work into this amazing series that is basically about a girl rocketeer punching robots, and we think it's a lot of fun, so go check that out.
And she kind of looks like Pepper Potts.
Yes, she does look like Pepper Potts. So let's talk about Pepper Potts. They might have a baby? What's going on with this?
So, Jason, I don't know if you know this, but
I don't.
Giant Marvel movie stars are really bad at keeping secrets and remembering which movies they're talking about in press conferences.
We all know that Tom Holland's the worst, though.
Yes. Well, apparently Gwyneth Paltrow might be also as bad. Who's Gwyneth Paltrow, Jason?
She plays Pepper Potts.
That is correct.
She was also Meet Joe Black, which is not connected to the Marvel Universe at all.
If you say so. I don't know what that is. In an interview with...
It's a bad Brad Pitt movie.
Aren't they all? With Titan, don't at me. In an interview with Titan Publishing, a British publication, for their official Avengers Infinity War magazine that came out in the Maelstrom of marketing campaign around Avengers 4, each of the actors gave individual interviews about kind of their character's journey through the MCU up to this point.
And Gwyneth Paltrow gave one of these interviews, I assume.
Of course she did.
Okay.
When she was asked about Pepper Potts and the state of her relationship with Tony Stark, she replied, and I quote...
Okay, quote this.
Pepper and Tony had a really long journey together. She obviously starts as his dutiful assistant, and then the relationship evolves. And now, a decade later, they're married, and they have a child.
Wait a minute.
End quote. Jason, why is that fishy?
What? They don't have a kid.
That's right.
They don't have a kid. We should predispose right now that this is going to be spoiler-heavy talk for Avengers Infinity War. There was that spoiler warning that just came across the screen. So if you don't know anything about Avengers Infinity War at this point, so at the beginning of Avengers Infinity War, Tony talks about a dream that he had where Pepper and him had a kid.
Yes.
That he thought that she was pregnant. Now, at the end of Avengers Infinity War, we leave Tony Stark stabbed through the gullet on Titan with only Nebula, and he has no way to get home. And we have no idea whether Gwyneth survived or not.
Right.
The Thanos snap.
So we did have the pregnancy scene, but that is literally Pepper's only scene in all of that movie. Now, that movie came out after Avengers 4 wrapped filming.
Yes, they have completed principal photography on Avengers 4 because they shot both movies at the same time. They are returning to reshoots.
And pickups.
And pickups, I believe, here in about a month.
So there's a good chance that over the course of this fourth Avengers movie that we know nothing about, Tony and Pepper could have had a child, and that Gwyneth Paltrow was speaking out of turn because she wrapped the movie on January 11th and she was very confused and hadn't had enough coffee today. The real crime is really that none of the editors or reps who read this interview caught the slip of the tongue before it went to print, and they just allowed the internet to run with this theory instead of Marvel just stepping in and nixing it where it stands. But like I said, we don't really know much about Avengers 4, except it seems likely that either time travel or alternate universes are going to play a big part of it. We know this basically because a bunch of photos leaked from the set where we saw Captain America in one of his old uniforms.
His Avengers 1 uniform.
With Iron Man and Ant-Man. And spoilers, Ant-Man wasn't there the first time around.
Yeah, and Ant-Man is in his Ant-Man and the Wasp costume.
His newest modernist, this is costume.
Yeah.
So Pepper and Tony could have a child that only exists in a timeline that's part of Avengers 4 and could get wiped out later.
Yep.
Thank you, Time Stone. Pepper and Tony could have a child that exists only in an alternate reality. Thank you, Time Stone. Pepper and Tony could, you know, just in a normal continuity, have done what man and wife would do and had a child on their own. Thanks, biology. So, in an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Disney CEO Bob Iger confirmed that they are working on future Marvel ventures, adding that they are now looking for a, quote, new franchise beyond Avengers, unquote, alongside Avengers movies. And then he said, quote, We meet on a regular basis with our Marvel team, and we've plotted out Marvel movies that will take us well into the next decade. I'm guessing we will try our hand at what you would call a new franchise beyond Avengers, but that does not necessarily mean you won't see more Avengers down the road. We just haven't made any announcements about that. Given the popularity of the characters and given the popularity of the franchise, I don't think people should conclude that there will never be another Avengers movie. Now, there's maybe not a lot revealed in that statement, but that would further the theory that a baby for Pepper and Tony could be a logical successor to take up the Iron Man mantle if when Robert Downey Jr. finally gets too old and decides he doesn't want to be Iron Man anymore.
All right, let's stop. We have way too much to talk about, and we need to stop this right now. There's way too much to back. So let's back up. Let's back up into your notes here this little bit. Okay, so there is the first possibility that this is the scene actually happens, that Tony and Pepper actually have a baby, that they actually get married, and that maybe in Avengers 4 we see a time period after Thanos' snap 10 years down the road. They could do a time jump into the future, and that's the reality after Thanos' snap. Like, say the heroes never, ever bring those people back. And this is some weird, we see this in lots of Star Trek episodes, it's some weird reality that our heroes are going to be forced to destroy. Now, I kind of believe that that is the correct, like, this is actually what it is.
Kind of a House of M style?
Well, yeah, I mean, what an interesting way to start Avengers 4 by, like, you know, showing us a quick scene of, like, right after the Thanos snap, and maybe a couple of locations, go Avengers Infinity Gauntlet, Avengers Forever, whatever you're going to call this movie. Dun, 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 dun. Black, 10 years later. No one would expect it. No one would expect it. And then we just start off and we see this little boy and we're like, who's this little boy? And then, like, you hear Tony being like, Howard, come back over here, or Steve, come back over here, or Rhodey, or whoever the hell he's going to call his little kid. I don't know what he would call his little kid. Hopefully not Arno. That's a deep cut reference for all you out there. But I think that would be then Tony Stark has to agree to destroy his perfect life, to bring back half of the universe. That, I think, makes insanely high stakes.
And that is something that Marvel has done in the comics before to their characters.
Yeah, and again, it's a sci-fi trope that you've seen in many, many other ideas. I don't think Son of Iron Man is the continuation of Iron Man in the movies. I just don't see them doing that. I see them spinning off War Machine movies. I actually see them doing Riri Williams from the comic books before they ever do anything like that. I just really, really do. So yeah, I don't know. What do you think about this?
I mean, I think it's probably like what you said. I think it's probably an alternate reality. I mean, in the comics, Tony and Pepper don't have a romantic relationship.
Not at all.
They've had a couple brief encounters.
They've slept together.
But they're not together. She's married to Happy. That's right. She's married to Happy Hogan.
That's right. Jon Favreau.
Which is Jason's preferred Pepper husband.
That is right.
And they don't have children.
He makes her happy.
Tony does have biological children, though.
In weird alternate futures.
Yes, but in the Invincible Iron Man 500, there's a flash forward to an apocalyptic future 41 years in the future, where the Mandarin has conquered the world. Tony has a son named Howard Anthony Stark and a granddaughter named Ginny Stark.
That's a Matt Fraction comic book.
Howard Anthony Stark only exists in this future. He's not canon and not deeply tied into the Iron Man continuity, but that's a name that they could lift if we were going to see a son at all. And Marvel, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, does have a story called House of M that Scarlet Witch is in charge of, where she says no more mutants.
Creates an alternate reality.
Everybody kind of lives out their fantasy, and they're forced to reconcile that in order to put the 616 back together again. So, I mean, a kind of theory out of that might be that post-snap, Scarlet Witch's essence was dissipated all over the universe, and her chaos magic caused a crack in reality, and this might be where Tony and Pepper have a baby.
I think that's too much.
Reddit really loves this theory.
I don't think Scarlet Witch dissipating creates an alternate reality on top of us having to go back and time travel.
We're resetting this reality. Nobody died in the snap.
Come on. We know for a fact that somehow these deaths are going to be undone.
Yeah.
Now, all of them might not be undone, but a grand majority of them, because we got Black Panther 2 coming, we got Spider-Man 2 coming, we got Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 that shoots next year. These characters have to come back. So we're going to undo part of the snap. It's going to happen. So they're not going to create an alternate reality on top of a time travel story, on top of an undoing reality story. That would be so infinitely complicated. Again, look at Infinity War. It is a very... Remember how crazy we thought Infinity War? We thought Infinity War was going to be like, oh, maybe there's Skrulls, and maybe there's Galactus shows up, and the Silver Surfer, and all this crap. We thought it was going to be insane. You know what it was? It was Steve's in Wakanda, Tony's in space, Thanos walks around a lot. That was the entire movie. It was very simple. So I think that Avengers 4 is going to be just as simple.
So where do you come down on the very likely and not likely?
On House of M, not likely. Infinite unlikely.
Then let me break it down like this for you. Do you think that...
I haven't done the other ones yet, but whatever.
Do you think that Tony and Pepper, if they have a baby, is it reality baby who's going away at the end of the movie, or is it forever baby that we're going to see maybe in future phases?
Oh, man.
Which one do you think is more likely?
I think it's reality baby, although
Ooh.
I do think Tony dies in Avengers 4.
Think so too. I thought Tony was going to die in every Avengers movie, though.
And I think if he dies, it's kind of a sad, sappy ending to leave Gwyneth or Pepper Potts with a baby, with a Tony Jr.
Well, then maybe she'll marry Happy and they'll get the ending that they all deserve.
I mean, Happy died in that snap. You know for a fact.
Oh, no, don't do that to Happy.
Happy's gone.
Okay.
We don't know, again, we don't even know Pepper survived. I'm going to say Pepper survived.
I'm going to assume, too, because most of the first waivers did.
Because she's not,
One final real quick theory to run by you.
Sure.
How likely do you think it is that Gwyneth Paltrow was just confused and spoke out of turn, just like when Mark Ruffalo said everybody dies on Good Morning America?
Very likely. I think this is legit. I really, really do. I think this is legit. I think there's some piece of this that is very legit. Again, for all we know, it could be some weird dream sequence
absolutely.
That Tony Stark has. Maybe he has some weird dream. That's all this could be. We've been fooled by that in many other superhero movies where they filmed some sort of dream sequence and then we found out that it was false. But I think there is some sort of baby scene with Tony and Pepper in this movie. I don't think she misspoke. I think this is legit, and I think she was high off of her apple fumes and just said it.
So there you go. Pepper and Tony shippers start picking
Very
out
likely.
baby names.
Very likely. I don't know. What are we calling this baby?
Well,
Iron Baby?
Iron Baby? Yeah, that's fine.
Iron Baby would sell a lot of
Rescue
comic
Baby?
books. No, let's not call her Rescue Baby. That sounds bad. Rescue Baby.
Well, she's rescued.
War Baby.
Do you think if Tony...
War Baby Machine.
If Tony dies, is the last name going to be Potts?
No, they'll keep it Stark.
You think so?
They'll keep it Stark. Yeah. It'll be very interesting to see what the first name of this kid is. That'll be.
If Tony lives, it'll definitely be Steve.
You think they'll go that far?
Yeah.
Oh, they're gonna ship that love all the way through. Okay, well you can ship that love all the way through to us, but go down to the comments, tell us what you think about this theory. Is it very likely? Is it not likely? While you're down there, click subscribe.
And for more exclusive geeky content, why not check out patreon.com/Jawiin. Come join us in the Hall of Justice and be a super friend.
See you around the channel, and thank you for watching.